What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to another WNBA video. Now, we already put out our video for the Sunday slate, but I was diving into the action a little bit more, and I found a few player props that I like over the day as well. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into those here in a second video. And if I end up putting any of these plays in officially myself, I will throw those down in the pinned comment in the link that will send you over to the Guy Boston Sports Channel, where all of my final plays for these games are living for free. So let's go ahead and dive into it, guys. Let's jump over to Outlier. We're going to go ahead and break down the data a little bit and jump into these plays. Now, the first play I'd be looking at would be Natasha Howard. Her rebounds over 5.5. We actually cashed this the other day, but when we did so, it was that plus money. A lot more juice now, sitting at minus 150 over there at FanDuel. But we can see why, man. She's hit this at a 57% rate this year, 12 out of 21 times, averaging 6.86 rebounds a game. We can see the wings, they are sitting at 6 for rebounds allowed. Against that forward position, though, it does dip a little bit to 8th. If we look at her head-to-head against the wings, just one matchup this season so far, and she crushed the line, landing at 13. And in her last 5 games specifically, has gone up and over that mark at an 80% rate, averaging 8 rebounds per game. So a nice 2.5 rebound cushion that we're looking at there. We do like to see that a lot. Like I said, a little bit juiced, minus 150, but I do think it's worth taking a look at still. The next play I'm going to be looking at is going to be Brittany Griner of the Dream. Her points over 9.5. We can get that right now, minus 115 over there at Caesars. Now, the Liberty, their points defense allowed, sitting at 6 overall. Second, when it comes to that center position. But the thing is, man, Jonquel Jones does remain out for the Liberty right down here, right? Now, that is the rim protector. And without her in the lineup, like we talked about in our video breaking down that Sunday slate, if you haven't watched that yet, make sure you jump over there and check that out. We break down all of these games in their entirety. We talked about how the Liberty have really suffered in the paint with Jonquel Jones out, man, allowing a lot of points out of the paint, actually leading the league in that category. If we look at BG, she's only hit over this mark at a 50% rate this season, right? But against these Liberty, she has hit at a 75% rate in her last 4 games. Not crushing the number in these 2 games, right? But that was last year. We do have to keep that in mind. That was with the Mercury, and her role was quite bigger with that Mercury team. But we do see that she came up and over that line in this previous outing against the Liberty, and then that first meeting with the Liberty this year as a member of the Dream, she landed right there on the hook. So coming close to cashing 4 out of 4 times here in the last 4 games. We can look at her in her last 5 as well. We can see, man, Brittany is starting to pick it up, averaging 11.8 points per game, hitting this at a 80% rate, 4 for her last 5. So I definitely think, with all things considered, with where the Liberty are sitting with that interior depth missing, but this is definitely worth a look here. I'd also like taking a look at Derica Hamby of the Sparks in that Sparks and Connecticut Sun game. Her points and assists over 18.5. We can get that at minus 125 over there at FanDuel. If we look down in her last 5 games, she's hitting this at an 80% rate. She did not hit that mark in the last time out, but that is against that Minnesota defense, tops in the league. We can see that she is hitting it at a 60% rate in her last 10, 60% rate in her last 20, and on the season as well, averaging 20.45 points plus assist over the course of the season, sitting at 21.4 in the last 5 games. So definitely looking good in that regard. We could see this insight from Outlier as well. She's exceeded this mark in 5 straight games when playing against the bottom 5 defenses for points allowed, which she will be doing here in those games, averaging 22.2 points plus assists. And then looking at the Sun, their defense, their points allowed sitting at dead last, their assists allowed sitting at third from last against that forward position that Derica Hamby plays. It doesn't get much better. Third from last for points allowed, fourth from last for assists allowed. So, like I said, over 18.5 points plus assists looks pretty good at minus 125. Let's jump over to FanDuel real quick. I put together a little 3-leg parlay. You guys know I love putting together those parlays when it comes to these young mystics, man. I'm looking at Shakira Austin plus 10 points, Sonia Citron to bounce back plus 10 points, and then Kiki Arifin 6 plus rebounds. That is plus 110 odds over there at FanDuel. I love this 3-leg parlay, guys. Let's look into it just a little bit more. Shakira Austin, we can check her out first. Over 9.5 points in her last 5, hitting that at a 100% rate. Over the last 10 at 80% rate, averaging 15.8 points per game. On the season, hitting at just a 65% rate, but you can see that her minutes started to increase, right? As the season went on, she gained a much larger role as she came in and just really performed to a high level. So She has crushed this mark in her last, what, 7? No, that's 8 games now. Her last 8 games, she has gone up and over this line, that 9.5 points that we need her to hit at. So definitely like her to continue that trend here. This is another one that if you watch the video, guys, breaking down these games, I talked about this one. Both these teams love to play inside. They're not really teams that rely on that outside shot. I think it's going to be a very physical and tough game. So definitely think we're going to see a lot of inside work done. Shakira Austin's going to thrive in this. And we look at Sonia Citron, man. She definitely had a poor outing her last time, right? 9 points against the Aces. So she lands on the hook, looking at this 9.5 point mark. But definitely a poor performance in that game. She shot the ball really bad, 2 for 10, 20%. And then from 3 point land, did not hit one of her 4 attempts. So definitely going to be a bounce back spot for Sony. And I think we see that, man. If we look at her over the course of the season, she hasn't strung together back to back bad games. You know what I mean? She's come on the hook here twice, and then landed at 7 in that one game against that top rated Minnesota defense. Other than that, man, she has been crushing this 9.5 point line on the season. She's averaging 14.25 points per game. She's gone up over this mark at an 85% rate, 17 of the 20 games that they've played. And then last, looking at Kiki Ariafin, her rebounds over 5.5. In her last 5, she's also hitting that at an 80% rate, averaging 7 rebounds a game. Then her last 10 hitting at a 90% rate. So you can just push it back further and see that she just keeps hitting over that mark, right? And on the season, averaging 8.4 rebounds per game, hitting at an 85% rate, 17 of her 20 games played. She has gone up and over that 5.5 rebound mark. And then we also talked about it in the video, man, breaking down these games, that the Mystics are the better rebounding team here overall. And you can see this here as well, that the Storm sitting at 3rd from last in terms of rebounds allowed per game. So definitely like combining all 3 of these together. Like I said, you can jump over here to Outlier one more time and see that 3-leg same game parlay puts us out at plus 110 odds. That is going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed the quick video to break down those player props real quick. And if you did, please don't forget to smash that like button on your way out. Hit subscribe if you have not already. And that's going to do it, man. Hope you guys all cash out. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next one.